Hello, welcome back to another video. Today I'm going to run you through my brand new cargo bike. So this is my new cargo bike. It's a 1007 Unicorn Cargo and you may have seen the video where I picked it up from the Netherlands a couple of weeks back. So in this video I'm just going to run you through the bike and the build and yeah, give you a bit of a rundown. So we'll start with the frame. The frame is it's made in Europe actually, in the Czech Republic. So it's a steel frame, and as you can see, running kind of the 20-inch front wheel and the standard 700c rear wheel. So it's quite a compact cargo bike, and you may notice on the front I've got a little seat there. So the main motivation to buy this bike was basically so I can go on some adventures with my daughter as she gets older and use it for small sort of tasks rather than using the car. So when I picked up the bike from the Netherlands, the seat wasn't on there. I've added that since, so I'll run you through that in a second. But yeah, so this is the build. So I brought the frame and the wheel set from 1007. I'll put the link on the video where I collected it and did the little build. And then most of the other parts, some bits were new, but most of it was stuff I just sort of had in the garage. It seemed sensible to try and use up some old parts and some nearly new parts to build up a pretty cool bike. So the basis of it is obviously the Unicorn Cargo frame. And then from there, I've added some Redshift components. So I've got the Redshift shock stop suspension seat post. I just figured that it's just given the size of the bike, you're not really going to be standing up very much and you're going to hit some bumps. So having the suspension seat post makes quite a difference. This is the endurance one. I was going to fit their city post, which is basically a couple of spring dampers. But the frame, the seat tube is actually quite narrow. It's 27.2 on this bike. And the city one didn't fit. So I went for the endurance. So basically that's got a elastomer and a spring. So you can sort of tune the damping to a certain extent. And then I've got the shock stop seat stem as well. Again, just takes a couple of the bumps out, makes it a little bit more comfortable. And yeah, it's good stuff. I've used it on my gravel bikes for a couple of years now and works really well. The saddle is an ergon saddle. Again, I've used it a couple of times, so I thought I might as well use it for this build. So it's the SMC Core Team saddle. Basically, it's quite thick and cushy. So when I'm riding this bike, I'm pretty much just going to be using normal clothes, not going to be wearing kind of cycling shorts or anything like that. So I figured it'd be good to have a nice, thick, comfy saddle on there. Handlebars, these are just some Ritchie carbon bars I had floating around in the garage. I think they've done an Atlas mountain race and a few other events, but yeah, might as well pimp out the cargo bike if I've got the spare parts available. I've used Ergon GT1 grips for this build. They work really well. A couple of different hand positions. You can use the end of them or you can hold on to the little kind of grip there. Super comfy, and yeah, I use them actually for the Atlas mountain race, but they work pretty good on this build. On to the group set now. This is again mostly bits I had, but I've got a couple of new components. So it's I went for basically mountain bike gearing. I figured that top speed isn't the main priority on this build, and I'm probably going to be hauling a heavy load, i.e. my daughter. So I went for mountain bike gearing. So it's an XT 11 speaker set and rear mech. I've got an SLX shifter on the bars here. And then the chain set is actually an old rotor chain set I had, and it's been unused for a while, so I thought I might as well make the most of it. I've got a 36 tooth chainring on there, and that seems to work pretty well. You'll also notice I'm running flat pedals on this. So these are the Redshift Pro pedals, and actually I think they're one of the most underrated of the Redshift products. So they've got lights in both sides of the pedal, and they change colour depending on which direction they're facing. So I figured it's always worth having lights on a bike like this. They're always on there. Even if you lock it up, you don't have to worry about sort of taking them off. And yeah, safety first as always. And then I've also got the little Redshift light on the rear here, sits on there quite nice and neatly, and actually they're magnetic, so they can just clip them out and charge them up with a USB really easily. So yeah, put that in there, and yeah, you've always got something. The brakes, these are Shimano Dior. I mean, you can't really beat Shimano brakes in my opinion. Dior's kind of the basic model, but they're just perfect. They work really well, nice and powerful, and they're great for a bike like this. Don't need anything too fancy. It's going to be a bit of a workhorse. So yeah, does the job nicely. You may notice as well, I'm running the mud guards. So these are from SKS. They're actually custom made for 1007. You can see at the bottom they've got a bit of a longer kind of flap on them just to stop all the dirt getting in the kickstand, and a bit more extension at the rear. Again, like I don't want to get covered in dirt when I'm out riding this bike, so mud guards are a bit of a must. I chose to add a kickstand to the bike mainly because it makes a lot of sense when you're trying to load and unload the cargo deck. And yeah, this one came with the bike from 710, and as you can see, it makes it pretty useful for doing bike check videos too. Onto the wheels. Now these are actually 1007's wheel set. I just brought them as they were. I did think about potentially making up my own wheel set with using a Hunt rim. Obviously I'm supported by Hunt wheels. But in the end, I decided just to go for the specific cargo bike wheels. There's just more spokes, like 32 spoke, just a bit burlier. You know, they're designed for the job. So I felt like that was probably the sensible option. And they're quite nice too. They're made in the Netherlands. So yeah, it's quite nice actually that the bike is pretty much made in Europe on the whole. Obviously some parts aren't, but the frame and the wheels are definitely European. So yeah, quite nice to sort of stay local. Tyres, again, I used kind of what I had. So on the rear, I had one of the Renault 55mm Antelope Hill tyres. I quite like these, big fat slicks, and they kind of suit the bike. Also, I wanted tan walls. So yeah, I think they're pretty cool. And it was basically a new tyre. It maybe done 500 miles, so there's plenty of life left in it. I went for a Billy Bonkers from Schwalbe on the front, predominantly because it's tan wool. But also it's got quite a nice little tread on there. I figured you'd need a bit of grip just for braking if you're on a loose surface on the front. So yeah, that's on there. You may also know I'm supported by Enduro bearings. So I've probably tricked this out a bit more than I need to for what it is, but I've got one of the Max Hit bottom brackets. That's a stainless steel bottom bracket. Super strong, super robust, requires very little maintenance. So again, it's kind of ideal for a bike like this, which is going to be used pretty regularly. I also added a tail fin top tube bag on there. It was primarily just for the ride home from the Netherlands. Again, it was pretty useful, so I'll probably just leave it on there. It's good to put your house keys in there, phone, like snacks, anything like that. So yeah, I'll leave that in place, and this is the flip top version. So yeah, loads of space in there. I've actually got like a little folding backpack from going to the shops the other week, just carrying a few little extras on there. Up front, I guess this is the good bit, and probably the bit everyone sort of wants to know about the most, and that is the cargo deck and the seat. So one of the unique features about 1007 is their removable cargo deck, and this is one of the reasons I went for this over, say, something like an Omnium, is the fact that you can actually fully remove the cargo deck. And for me, space is a bit of an issue in storage. I don't really have the space to have like a full-size cargo bike and deck sort of on there all the time. But this is really good, you can just take it off. So it's removable, I can get it in and out the house easily. And yeah, when I came back from the Netherlands, I just used the cargo net that 710 can supply, and that held a big duffel bag on there very comfortably, no problems whatsoever. It was actually remarkably easy to use. And then I managed to pick up one of these backrests. Now, as I said, one of the main reasons I wanted to get this bike was so I can go on adventures with my daughter as she grows up. She's almost 3 now, so she's getting to the age where she wants to be able to sort of go out and explore the world a little bit. She's got a little balance bike, and the idea was, somewhat inspired by my friends Manu and Katrien. They take their boys on massive adventures on their cargo bikes, so they gave me the inspiration. So check out their film Finding Nessie if you haven't seen it. It's well worth a watch if you're into that kind of thing. But yeah, the idea was I could sit her on the front and put her little balance bike on the back here, and we've been on a few little adventures, which has been really nice so far. Obviously it's the middle of winter in the UK at the moment, so I'm hoping when we get into spring and summer we'll be able to do a little bit more. But I picked up this Omnium backrest. So basically the deck size is pretty similar to the Omnium decks, and I managed to get a second-hand backrest. It's got a little seat belt on there. I think it's going to be okay for her. I do wonder whether I should make it harness, but it seems okay at the moment for the little journeys we have done. And it clamps onto the frame with quick releases too, so I can take it off really easily if I just need to carry some cargo around. So yeah, that was a good little find. And then I've just put a little cushion on there as well. I actually stole it off our kitchen chairs. It's a bit of a stopgap, but it actually works quite well. Just something I picked up from IKEA. I might try and get something maybe a bit more waterproof, maybe like a cushion for an outdoor seat or something. But it seems to work quite well, and my daughter's pretty comfortable on there. So yeah, so that's the cargo deck, and it's very easy to take off, as I'll show you now. Yeah, so the cargo deck's super easy to take on and off. There's just a little screw on the front here, so you just unscrew that, and that gives the deck a little bit of forward movement. And then there's a couple of grooves and slots, and you just take the deck off nice and easily. And once you do that, the bike is actually, there's not much there, it's really light. It's very easy to manoeuvre and take in and out the house. And yeah, just to put it back on, you basically line up the little pins with the grooves, drop it on, push it back about 10 mil if that, and then tighten up the deck. So yeah, quite a nice little solution, and that was probably one of the main reasons I decided to go for this bike. over something like an Omnium. And I also quite like the fact it's made in Europe, and met Daniel, who runs a company, and yeah, really nice guy. So yeah, definitely recommend checking out 1007. So that's my unicorn cargo bike. I hope you like the video. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to check out the video of me collecting it. It's quite a nice little overnight adventure. And yeah, looking forward to some good adventures as the spring and next year unfolds. So thanks for watching, and see you again in another video.